Hi, today we're going to be going through my Module 3 peer review, a standards-based project. My school, Winston Churchill, is in a suburb of Chicago, and my classroom is a 4th grade classroom. In my classroom particularly, I have 23 students, 17 of which have disabilities, which is a little bit higher than the average for the school. One thing that's unique about our school is the very high mobility rate and the amount of English language learners we have due to a lot of students coming from outside of the country. For my unit plan, we will be focusing on a science second trimester unit on the Earth systems. Within the Earth systems, our particular focus is on the rock cycle. This unit helps us to achieve the science standard of identifying evidence from patterns in rock formations and fossils in rock layers to support an explanation for a change in landscape over time. The first tool that we will be using is Edpuzzle. And our lesson objective is that students will be able to differentiate between igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks when given a picture of each. Edpuzzle is a video tool that allows for teachers to embed formative assessment questions and thoughts into certain videos for classroom use. We will start by activating our background knowledge when we begin the video. This would be an open-ended question for students to answer. Throughout the rest of the video, at certain points, multiple choice questions will appear for students to answer. One of the things that students are not allowed to do in this video is skip a question. So while the option looks like it's available, they will not be able to choose it. Students will be able to select the option to re-watch a portion of the video in order to help them answer the question. Multiple choice questions happen throughout this video at different timestamps based on what they have learned so far. Multiple choice questions were used because they give a quick formative assessment for me as the teacher to be able to gather data and know right away what the students understood, what they're still struggling with, what we may need to review, and what we can challenge them on. Post-lesson, all of this data is provided in the grade book. Right now, there's no students that have taken it, so you can't see anything, but this is what the screen would look like if there was information. Our second tool is called Actively Learn. And our objective with this is for students to draw connections between igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks through their annotations on the rock cycle. Actively Learn is an online catalog of text, videos, and Common Core aligned lessons across multiple disciplines, including literacy, science, and social studies that can be used with grades 4th through 12th. The article we are using is called Rocks and Processes of the Rock Cycle. This is at a 740 Lexile, which is a good instructional level for all of my students. Our purpose for reading is to annotate key details on how the 3 types of rocks are related to each other through a cycle. Students understand what purpose for reading means because it is how our literacy unit is formatted, so it also brings that cross-discipline of using our literacy skills in science. Now, the format of how students will read this article will depend on their ability level and teachers available. They might be placed into a small group with a support teacher. They can choose to work with a partner. They can choose to work individually, or they can choose to work with a general education classroom teacher. Throughout this article, there have been teachers' notes that are embedded to help students understand various information. There's also embedded media such as music to help solidify some of the ideas in the article, especially for those auditory learners. I also have done some teacher modeling throughout this article to show what I expect their annotations to look like. So I did the first annotation for them on ways that rocks can change, and then I challenged them to annotate 2 more independently. At the top, you can see it says all shared notes. In this spot as the teacher, I am able to see all the annotations that students are doing throughout, so I can gauge as they're going whether they're doing the right annotations, whether I need to check in with them to maybe direct them in the right place or to give praise for those that have been doing it correctly. There are also multiple choice questions embedded throughout the article that will force students to pause and answer the question before they can move on. This gives me as the teacher a very quick assessment of, are students understanding what they're reading? Is there anything I need to go over again? Who isn't understanding and who is? It shows me all of the grading information right on the side of my screen. All you have to do is at the top switch over from the Notes tab to the Grading tab. Once students have completed reading this article, our next steps will be using Google Draw for them to create their own rock cycles to show what they know. These are my resources that help me with the presentation. Thank you for listening.